It's all about scale, and it's all about access to cheap money.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. Um, One last question, as I promised, right? I think we want to hear some more stories from the leasing side, especially because that's such a black hole for most of the listeners and most of us, right? There's not that many folks that really have insights into the leasing market. I'm sure there's stories with customers, with lenders, defaults, and things like that. So tell us an interesting story.
I'll give you one good story. Okay, one good story. So after Airbus picked up the C series, right, we were left with the Q400 and the CRJ 700 and 900, right? So the leasing team, we were four guys. We sat down, we had a little offsite and stuff, basically to regroup, and we said to ourselves, "All right, guys, perfect. That big airplane's out of the way. Who cares? We couldn't do anything with that airplane anyway. But these little ones over here, that's our bread and butter. We've always worked. We know how to place these things and stuff. We're going to recreate ourselves, and we are now exclusively regional leasing company. There's nothing more that we're going to do." We started visiting some of the smaller players, right? And we went off to Florida to meet up with this one company and a leasing company, a small leasing company. We're a small leasing company. Now they're actually a major leasing company out of Florida. And I spent a good part of the afternoon, talking to them about how we're transforming our business, how we're now, completely invested in regional market, how we're going to, revamp the segment, blah, blah, blah. I gave them the hard sale, right? Took all their technical team and all their executive team out to supper that night. And I'm sitting down at the dinner table. I get a text message, all hands meeting in 10 minutes. Okay. I slowly stepped out over to the side to listen to the all hands meeting where my senior vice president announced to us that we were basically shutting down the regional division. So we didn't tell anything to the customer that night because we were, had egg on our face. But we walked out of that meeting, out of that supper that night, so completely destroyed that we just sat down at our hotel and we just sat around drinking the rest of the night. That was it. We're like, what are we going to do now? There's nothing else to do. And that was sort of the end of Bombardier Commercial Aircraft.
Transformation indeed.
Oh, that was a hard one. Let me tell you, man. When I got that call from Colin, our SVP, I was like, oh my God, we just spent 2 hours with these guys telling them, what we were planning to do and how we were changing the industry, and all of a sudden, the industry changed us.
Okay, so this next section, Tony, we'll ask you a couple of rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little better and to kind of focus our attention on some of the younger professionals and what they need to do to become the next Tony Santos, right? So
Tell
the
them not to
first,
be Tony Santos. Whatever you do, Ashwin, tell them to be someone else. I can give you other references and names, just not me.
fair enough. Okay, so what's one hard skill and one soft skill that you think is required to succeed in your role?
Okay, so hard skill, right, is you need to have a good, strong technical base. Okay, the product that we're selling and an aircraft as a whole, right, to the layman is a very, very simple thing. You basically get into it and it brings you from point A to point B, right? But everything around the airplane that gets you from point A to point B, the systems, the engines, the avionics, why certain airplanes can't get you from point A to point B, they can get you from point A to this point over here, and then you have to refuel and go someplace else. You got to be able to communicate very, very complex, notions in a way that someone can understand them. Understand? So you need to have a very, very good technical base. From a soft skill standpoint, you need to be able to listen.